Okay, with one fight night 29 done and concluded, it is now time for me to give my thoughts and my opinions on who the winners should be fighting next. This idea is an idea copied from the MMA Guru, where he usually does it for the UFC. I am now doing it for the One Championship. So, as you notice, there will be fighters currently on the screen, all 10 winners, and there will also be blank spots next to each one of them. So that is where their fighter, who I think they're going to fight, is going to go next. So kicking us off is going to be the winner, Alicia Helen Rodriguez, who won by TKO in round 4 over Mary McManaman. So this is a thing that I did sit there and predict perfectly. I did say she was going to get the TKO. Like I said, I just thought it was a little bit of a massive step up for McManaman. But Alicia Helen Rodriguez, the fight I think that she needs to be taking next is going to be Cher Cohen, right? The 10-1 female fighter who's currently fighting out of Israel and is 3-0 within the One Super Series, right? She's an amazing fighter. They were supposed to fight anyway, right? Cohen was out with an injury. This now gives Alicia Rodriguez time to recover, right? Time to rest. Cher Cohen, she comes in later this year, right? You're talking probably like a four month turnaround, and we could probably see these two fighting again, either headlining a fight night card, or it'll probably be co-main or third in line on an actual really good card, like a 1-1-7-2. From there, we've got Rambalek, who TKO'd Parham Gurati in round 2. I did see this fight going in Gurati's favour, but Rambalek, honestly, someone should be checking his right hand, right? I don't know what happened right there, right? But every time he landed that right hand, that straight cross down the middle, it caught Gurati, and Gurati was put on his arse every single time, right? It was a very good performance from Rambalek. So, what should we do now, though? That's the thing. Because he's got this Parham Gurati win, but other than that, he hasn't got a whole lot to sit here and, call home about or get too excited about. Like, he had a fair few wins on the Fight Night series, but other than that, right, he hasn't done a whole lot yet. So, it's why I think the best fighter for him is going to be Sewer Black. Now, the reason is Sewer Black did already lose this year to Dmitrii Kovtun, right? Sewer Black is 60-21 overall, and in one championship he's 6-3. Now, the reason why I think Sewer Black is going to be the best thing is Rambalek needs an opponent who has got a lot of experience, right? He can't. Parham Gurati, as good of a fighter as he is, he's had 21 fights and he's nearly lost 33%, which isn't awful. Don't get me wrong, within one, he has done amazing. But if you're taking off of his one record, then outside of one, he was 9-5. Right? He needs somebody who has had a lot of experience, and that to me is Sewer Black. And I think that's going to be a really tough test where Rambalek is either going to sink or swim, right? He's either going to be able to do amazing, or he's not going to be able to finish that fight, right? And that is the reason why I'm doing it, right? It's a real test. Parham Gurati, as good of a fighter as he is, right? It was a good test, right? Now we know Rambalek is up there, but we need to know how far up there is he within an actual stacked division. So I think Sewer Black is going to be the best fighter to give Rambalek. Onto this, we've got another fighter within this division who has done amazing, Dmitrii Kovtun, right? He sat there and got a unanimous decision over Su Lin Yu, and I did predict Su Lin Yu to get the finish, right? It didn't happen, but Dmitrii Kovtun, he did exactly what I thought he would have to do to win the fight, right? He angled off amazingly after a lot of the different moves, right? He didn't go forwards a lot because Su Lin Yu was still trying to just step forwards with everything. So Kovtun's stepping off, he's throwing kicks, he's throwing his long range shots. He fought the perfect fight personally. So where do we go from here? Because Dmitrii Kovtun has fought a lot of good people, right? He's beat Ferrari Fairtex. He did lose to Nonchai. But this year, let's not forget, within 3 months, he's beat Sua Black and Sulinu, who are very experienced fighters. So, who is going to be the best fighter for Dmitrii Kovtun to fight now? I think one of the better ones is going to be Kalabdam. The reason is, right, one, Kalabdam, a lot of power, right, a lot of power. He has a very good record within one, and he's got a lot of experience, right? I think this is a bit of a step up from Sulinu and a little bit of a step up from the likes of Sua Black. Right, I think this is the next level within this division, and I think it's going to be a very good fight. Right, Kalabdam has got a lot of power. So did Sulinu, but I think Kalabdam's a little bit more, what's the word, calculated. He uses his head a little bit more within the fight. He has certain strategies to set up his left hand, which work extremely well, like we saw against John Lineker. Like, that was not an easy fight for Kalabdam to win. But he sat there and he still did it. Like, he's a very experienced fighter and a very good and well recognised fighter. Right, so I think that's going to be the best fight for Dmitrii Kovtun. Going on to Shamil Erdogan. Who are we kidding around now? Right, how many people do we want to see him fight? So he has sat there and he has knocked out Angla Sang, right? And I'm pretty sure, if I'm correct, it was 2 weeks ago. I should even have to be checked. It was a round 1 knockout, right? And Gilberto Galvao, it was a round 1, right? TKO, but he still got the finish. Like, he is the fucking real deal. He is an amazing fighter. Shamil Erdogan is, right? 6'2", and he is massive, right? Now, just so everyone understands, Angla Sang, right, the Burmese Python, is one of the only other fighters within the middleweight division, right, within 1 MMA. Gilberto Galvao is the only other fighter, really, within light heavyweight, of the one championship MMA division. Now, the champion of both these divisions is Anatoly Malkin. At the moment, Shamil Erdogan has got the right to call out Anatoly Malkin in either division. And you know what? I think he beats him in both divisions. I think we could be looking at a new double champ, the first ever Turkish double champ. And I think it's going to be Shamil Erdogan. I think he is a serious problem for anyone that he fights. Because, let's be honest, I gave Gilberto Galvao absolutely no chance within that fight. Right? I even said I was the most confident about that fight. Erdogan knocking him out was the most confident pick of my life. Right? Now, he did it. First round, again. I just don't know where we're going. I said the best chance for Gilberto Galvao, go to the floor, try and wrestle. Even when he did that, he fucking lost easily. Like, Shamil Erdogan's a big bloke. He's bigger than Anatoly Malkin. Right? I just see him being the champion. If I'm being honest, I can see him beating Malkin. Right? And then I can also see him moving up to heavyweight. So that's genuinely how much I respect Shamil Erdogan. I reckon he could be one of the first triple champs. On to the next one, sorry. So we're going to go Enkh Orgil Baartakhu with the unanimous decision. Now, as good of a fight as this was, it was entertaining. You know, Bakatau is not an easy fighter to get the victory over. But Enkh Orgil Baartakhu, once again, just proves why he's such a good fighter. Now, I can't believe he's a bantamweight fighter, if I'm being honest. 145 pounds, he is massive for, right? But he is amazing. 6-1 currently, right, within the one division, right, the one bantamweight division. He has beat Jeremy Pacquiao. He has beat Carlo Bermina Ang. He's only lost within his whole professional career. Right? He is a monster. Orgil Baartakhu is. And I've been saying it for ages. Give him Fabricio Andrade. I think this is the fighter to give Andrade the best fight of his career, the toughest fight of his career. Right? If it gets given to somebody else, I will be severely pissed off. Right? Enkh Orgil Baartakhu is one of the best fighters coming out of Mongolia. Right? He is amazing. Because not only has he got these powerful scrambles that he's able to do and throw people up against the cage, throw people up against the ring and take them down, he's an explosive striker. Like, he tried multiple spinning hook kicks on Jeremy Pacquiao. Right? He is an explosive fighter. And explosive fighters are entertaining, a lot more entertaining than fighters who just get one or two pitter-patter jabs and get the win. Like, the only fighter to beat him is Artem Balak, right? But at the moment, Enkh Orgil Baartakhu has done enough to get that title shot, right? So I think it's another case of giving a fighter a title shot within this card. From there, Martina Kierzinska. She fought a good fight. She did very, very good. I thought it was a very enjoyable fight to win. It was very close. It was a split decision, which, if you don't know what a split decision and a difference between the unanimous decision is the split decisions means it was so close. One of the judges gave it the other way. Now, Martina, sadly, she's in a division which is kind of stacked within the women's division. Like, I still think Alicia Rodriguez has to fight Shea Cohen. So Kierzinska isn't going to get that shot just yet. But I think a fight that Kierzinska should take to definitely solidify herself as next in line, because Yu Yaopui is 6-2 within one. Right, it was an amazing fight to win. Yeah, I think the fight that she should take next is going to be Anissa Meksan. Right, 4-2 within the one Super Series, 104-7 in her overall record. Right, Anissa Meksan is the real deal, and I think Martina Kierzinska should be taking that fight. Right, she should be accepting it to try and solidify herself as the next person in line for that belt. Because she deserves it. Like, she really does deserve that chance. So that's the fight I would make for Kierzinska. I would be giving her the Meksan fight to solidify herself as a title contender. From there, the Sanzar Zakharov. Also, the same case. A brilliant fighter. Again, with a round 2 knockout this time. Right. I did predict him to win, but I said it was going to be from decision. Right. It seems like he has a pattern forming within his record of a knockout, then decision, then knockout, then decision, then knockout. So, but it was a very impressive showing from the Tornado. Who do I think he gets next? I think, by all rights, he should be fighting Jared Brooks. Now, the reason for Jared Brooks to be the fight I think he should take, he's just lost to Joshua Pacquiao. He's just lost to the champion, right? In what I thought was a dominant performance. Now, not only that, right, let's not forget, I think Jared Brooks and Joshua Pacquiao has had multiple fights against each other, right? Now, I think it'll be a good test. If you beat Jared Brooks, then you have a very good shout of going for the title, because he is a man who has beat Joshua Pacquiao before, right? Don't get me wrong, Pacquiao in the third fight, dominated him. But I think this is a fight that you should be taking. There is other fights on the card, like he could go against Bo Kang, right? He could go against Gustavo Ballart, but I just don't see it. I think the best fight for you is going to be Jared Brooks. Like, Lito Adiwang has just lost to Kito Yamakita. And Kito Yamakita is also up there, man. He's getting on them rankings. He's going higher. He's 4-1 within one now, right? I just think that Jared Brooks, it opens a lot more doors than any other fighter currently. And let's not forget, Sanzar Zakharov is a very tall fighter for this division. 5'6" for this division is very tall. A lot of the average height is around 5'3", 5'4", right? Tatsumi Wada, right, is also a very tall fighter, but he has just lost. Now, other things to take into it, right, is young. Zakharov is only 21. He could be one of the youngest one champions currently or ever. So I think he's getting up there. Next one is going to be Nonchai. I thought it was a very impressive win, right? He did exactly what I thought he was going to do. So he did get that decision victory over Arian Esparza. Now, what fight would I give Nonchai after this? I thought it was a very good fight. Personally, you have to run it back, right? I would give him Mohamed Younes Raba. You were supposed to fight him. Raba pulled out, I understand. That is not Nonchai's fault. Nonchai's moved to 3-0 within the one championship. It was a very hard fight for Arian Esparza to sit there and come into the one championship on. But I think this is going to be the best fight, or toughest fight for Nonchai, Mohamed Younes Raba. Right? And a lot of other people have got fights booked already. So a lot of people above him have got fights booked. Don't get me wrong, I think there's other fighters, like I think Luke Lisi could have been a good fight. Right? I think Sitachai would be a good fight. But at the moment, Mohamed Younes Raba is 15-1 and 2-1 within the one series. I think it's a very good fight for Nonchai to take. Right? And it was supposed to happen. Next one, we're going on to Banmaduji and his TKO round one over Joshua Pereira. Now this one, I have mixed feelings about. Joshua Pereira did land on Banmaduji a fair bit, even though he did seem to blow his knee out within that first round. Now Banmaduji has moved to 2-2 within the one championship, and he is very good. He's very young, 25 within one, right, within MMA organisation, one of the best in the world, is still very young. Now, the best fight for him, I think, is one of the older fighters within the division. So we've got youth versus experience. He's also a lot shorter. I would give him Enkh Ronnie Saptora. He's coming off of that loss against Sanzar Zakharov, right? And I think it's going to be one of the better fights. Let's not forget, Saptora made his professional debut with one. So his MMA record and his one record are both 7-4. Now, Banmaduji is 16-3 within MMA, 2-2 within one. I think it's going to be a good fight, and I think it's a fight that he wins. I think he gets the knockout over Enkh Ronnie Saptora. I think he has a better chance of knocking people out than Sanzar Zakharov does. And if Zakharov gets the finish, I think Banmaduji gets the finish. So I think it's a very good fight for Duji to take, especially to get his name up there within the division. There is other fighters like Hu Yong and Zai Wei, right, who also have done very well within one. But I don't know a way that they're going to be able to fight. I think doing it where there's one country against the other is always a little bit better than a fight with country versus country, right? Because if it's hosted in China, then China will usually, support their Chinese fighters. If they're both Chinese, then it gets a little bit more confusing. So I'm not a massive fan of fights from the same nation fighting each other unless they have to. But I think Ego Ronnie Saptura would be a very good fight for Banmaduji. And we go on to the last fight, Stefan Korode finally getting his first win within one. Now, it was obviously at a catch weight of £148, but let's not forget, he is still a very good fighter, Stefan Korode. He's now 1-2 within one, and he's always had a lot of power. I did think he was going to knock him out. It did go to the decision. I think you can make a very entertaining fight here. And I think the very entertaining fight that you should make is going to be Stefan Korode versus Sulinu. Why do I think it's going to be entertaining? They are both forward-paced fighters. They both like to be on the front foot, which means you know this fight is going to end in a knockout. This is going to be a fight that sells crowds because you know it's going to be entertaining. No one watches a Sulinu fight and goes, "Oh, that's boring." No one watches a Korode fight and goes, "Oh, there was no big shots there." There's always a big shot. There's always a moment where one of them is going to get rocked. And I think that would be a perfect fight to sell a good card or headline a decent fight night card. Right, well, not headline it, but, be like the top 2, top 3 within that card. Right, I think that's a brilliant fight to make. Now, they are the 10 winners and the 10 fighters I think that should be made next. Right, now, obviously, within this, I have said that 2 of these fighters should get title shots. Right? And I think they should be made, and I think Shamil Erdogan is seriously one to watch, and I think he's going to be the first ever triple weight champion within the one championship. If you agree, leave a comment. If you don't, I'd love to hear who you guys think is going to be a better fit for these fighters rather than the ones that I have sat there and said myself.